How we doing today, everybody? It's Watch Display here. Today I have a review of one of my more recent purchases. The Day Date 40 is kind of like the street name or the nickname for it. And the reference number is 228238. So this is the most present Day Date reference, meaning it's the one you can actually go and get in the stores right now. And this is the silver deconstructed Roman dial. So the silver is actually a sunburst pattern. And at certain lighting, it does look white. Right now we're inside, we don't have natural lighting, so you are getting more of the actual true color of the dial, which is the silver. But in natural lighting outside and in certain different lighting situations, the dial actually does look more white, which is kind of nice because you don't see the subtle difference between the silver and the display of the day and the date. What I really love about the deconstructed Romans is just how it plays with the light. I do enjoy lume. However, that's a trade-off you have to give if you're wanting to go with the Roman dial, is you don't get any lume at all. But for me, it's worth it. Just the way that the deconstructed Romans look, it just looks amazing. And I also love how they have the watchmaker's 4 at the 4 o'clock. It's just a really, really nice balanced dial. And personally, a lot of the Roman dials in the Datejust where they have just like one stick over here at the 9 o'clock that's loomed, I don't really care for that too much. So I do think that this dial is probably one of the better dials that I've seen in the Day Date. I was also considered the motif dial, which is kind of like this weird little kind of pattern, square pattern, and you do get lume with that one. However, the Romans just sets it off for me. I think it looks perfect. The only thing I would say is I do wish that they had made a black deconstructed Roman dial, and honestly, if they had like black display for the day and date, like it was actually displayed in white and the background of that was black, it would look really, really good. I don't know if I'd care for it too much if the background was the same way like this with the white. I feel like it would look too much off. So this does have the most president bracelet. And what's different on the Day Date 40 and the Day Date 2 is not only the lug proportions, just like the overall case has been better proportion now, as well as the bezel, but the end links. The end links now, you can see they're not flared out like they were on the Day Date 2, which was 41 millimeters, I believe. They actually can hug straight down, which really makes the watch wear more true to size. And it also has ceramic sleeves that go over the screws on the links when you're removing it. This was first tried on the platinum Day Dates to try to minimize stretch and to help with kind of the drapiness or the overall fluidity of the bracelet. And they concluded that, or Rolex concluded that it did indeed help. So whenever you're removing these links, you take out the screws, there'll also be a white ceramic sleeve that'll kind of come out with that. Got to be careful here, I don't want to scratch the back of it. But of course, just like any other Rolex, the back of this case is just your standard flat case with like the brushing or whatnot. But I really do like this watch. It's probably my favorite current Rolex in the market. I am more of a sports watch guy, but I do really enjoy dress watches too. And while this does not actually feel as an actual dress watch, it does obviously appear very dressy, and it's just a really nice overall watch in my opinion. I actually got rid of my Bluesy, the 116618LB, so the sunburst blue dial solid gold Submariner for this one. And some people that are like true diehard sports watch lovers would never do that, but personally this watch is more me. I wear more dress attire, and the modern Submariner case is just so beefy and bulky compared to this. And obviously I still have my solid gold Daytona too, so you're starting to see kind of more how my overall taste in modern Rolex is. I like the more sleek, slender cases, so the case of the Day Date, the case of the Daytona, and the case of the Yachtmaster, not Yachtmaster 2, but Yachtmaster 1, and how they have just more the smaller lugs and just kind of more true case shape of the more vintage watches, which I think is really what, I also like. But, because I've had the 36 millimeter day dates, and I'm going to tell you right now, the 36 millimeter day date does not compare to this. There's no comparison. Like, they're two total different watches, and especially if you're going 36 millimeter vintage, this is a different animal. This is a very heavy watch. It's a beast. This is a very sexy watch. Now, if you have a tiny wrist, I feel like you could probably pull this watch off. Depending on where you measure, it does measure closer to like the 39 millimeter, unless you're measuring like kind of straight across, and that's where you get the true 40 millimeter. I will say I feel like it wears smaller than a 40 millimeter, but that's just my personal opinion. And I've had pretty much all the sports Rolex 40 millimeter cases, and this wears much smaller. It wears very similar to my Daytona, which I feel like wears smaller than 40 millimeters also. But this is just a quick little review of this. I've probably had it for about a month now, so I'll probably give more of an opinion on it once I have it for a little bit longer. But I'm wearing I'll quickly show it really quickly, but we won't do a full review on it because I'll save it for another video. But I'm wearing one of my newest acquisitions, which is my Chopard LUC. It's the 1860 with the 1.96 caliber movement, which is just spectacular. It's an amazing watch. We'll do a separate review on that. But check me out on Instagram at Watch Display, and have a great weekend.